The BlackRock CEO just talked live on TV about Bitcoin, about cryptocurrency, about the new ETF. He talked about interest rates and banks collapsing and how he thinks we have too many banks. I'm going to play that clip for you, but first I want to show you something really interesting that's happening in the market that I think a lot of people aren't seeing. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on that bell notification underneath the video, and let's get into it. As you can see, crypto down 1% or Bitcoin down 1% for the day. The whole cryptocurrency market cap down about 2.22%. What was so interesting to me today was even though crypto closed down, or is down right now, even though the NASDAQ closed down, the Bitcoin related stocks, the Bitcoin miners, are doing quite well. Specifically CleanSpark. This is the one Bitcoin miner I hold. They're up 8.6% today. What's so weird about that is, like I said, both the general market and Bitcoin are down. So what this means, someone is positioning themselves and buying a lot of shares, getting ready for the next bull run or making some kind of swing, who knows. But we have other mining stocks doing something similar to a lesser degree. Riot, though, up 1.8%. Mara up 1.6%. What we've seen with other stocks like MicroStrategy is we're seeing large institutional investors coming in and buying up as many shares as they can, increasing their ownership stake. BlackRock, Fidelity, Vanguard, and that's why I want to show you the next clip too. So just keep this in mind as you're watching this next clip, showing what Larry Fink thinks about the crypto market. And keep in mind, in 2017, he said Bitcoin was an index for money laundering. Now he says that Bitcoin is an international asset and actually just called it digital gold. Now I could not find this clip online from anywhere besides this other YouTube channel, Paul Barron. So special shout out to him for playing this on his live stream. And let's watch. This is on Fox Business.
BlackRock's 576 ETF applications, 575 have been accepted, and just one has been rejected. I know you're all asking which one. I'll tell you later. It was in 2014. As the entire crypto sector waits and watches, joining us now in a Fox Business exclusive is BlackRock's chairman and CEO, Larry Fink, along with Charlie Gasparino. Great to have you, Larry.
Liz, Charlie, it's good to be here on a summer day.
Yeah, and we're cool in here.
We are.
Larry, I know that per SEC regulations, you cannot get into specifics. But as you look at all of your track records when it comes to iShares and approvals, how do these things work out? How long does it take? And what do you think odds are of any of your ETFs that you float getting accepted?
Well, we try to do what's right for the long-term investor, and I think we have a good track record working with our regulators and trying to making sure we're thinking about all the issues around any filing. And so I can't get into the specifics of this filing, but I think the chart speaks quite well. We work really closely with our regulators, and
they work with the regulators, and they obviously know what's going to get approved. They're not putting their 575 win record on the line for this ETF. This is a $10 trillion company. Keep that in mind. They run the U.S.
We want to hear from the regulators what are their issues and can we fix those issues around that. So we hope that, like in the past, we could be working with our regulators and get the filing approved one day. And I have no idea what that one day will be, but and so we'll see how that all plays out. Specifically on Bitcoin, as I've said in the past. We're a believer in digitization of products. ETFs was a big revolution for the mutual fund industry, and it's really taking over the mutual fund industry. And we do believe that if we can create more tokenization of assets and securities, and that's what Bitcoin is, it could revolutionize again finance. And so we look at this as an opportunity to move one step further in terms of providing investors fractions of shares, fractions of this, democratizing the cost of investing. Over the last 10 years, we've lowered the cost of iShares ETFs by 30%. So what we're trying to do is make it more accessible, more easy. the attempt in terms of what we're trying to do with crypto is make it more democratized with all of crypto and making it much cheaper for investors. Right now, the bid-ask spread for crypto is very expensive. It does erode a lot of the returns that you speak about because it costs a lot of money right now to transact Bitcoin, and it costs a lot of money to get out of that. And so we hope our regulators look at these filings as a way to democratize crypto, and we'll see in the future how that plays out.
You were never a crypto skeptic like Buffett. I mean, Buffett and Charlie Munger come out and they say all this bad stuff about it. But you were kind of skeptical.
Yeah, I was skeptical because the early users it was heavily used for, let's say, illicit activities. And
notice he says early users. He's not saying that all of crypto is that way now. He specifically points out early users, indicating that he doesn't think it's that way anymore, like some people in the government.
I think as it became more accessible, and also I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold in many ways. It's instead of investing.
He just said something that all of crypto Twitter says that we say in the crypto community, which is Bitcoin is essentially digitizing gold, or is digital gold. It's a digital store of value, digital store of wealth. Really good to hear that from the CEO there.
Gold as a hedge against inflation, a hedge against
inflation,
onerous problems of any one country, or the devaluation of your currency.
He just said everything we want him to say. Digitization of gold, so digital gold, inflation hedge, hedge against devaluation of currency. He said something else there as well. Hedge against specific governments or economies.
Whatever country you're in, let's be clear. Bitcoin is an international asset. It's not based on any one currency, and so it can represent an asset that people can play as an alternative. I would call the foundation of BlackRock is about hope. You invest for retirement because you believe tomorrow is better than today.
Right, but hasn't the technology sort of diverged from the value of the digital coins? I mean, I don't know a lot of people who use the blockchain. That's the Bitcoin technology to transact. I know a lot of people who hold Bitcoin. You don't hold Bitcoin, right?
I don't own anything other than mutual funds and BlackRock shares.
Okay, but you see what I'm saying?
That's an interesting point there. A lot of larger investors or people in these types of companies, even companies themselves, aren't able to hold Bitcoin. However, if they start buying up companies like CleanSpark, like MicroStrategy, they can get access, or they can get some kind of crypto exposure, which is why I wanted to point that out earlier. People are getting crypto exposure to the miners. They're buying them up.
An advancement, people, there's a utility, it seems, out of nowhere about this digital coin. I don't see the utility in the underlying technology, and isn't that bad?
Well, no, I actually believe the underlying technology is fantastic because the blockchain will help you accelerate the processes of transactions. The blockchain will help you identify. I mean, let's be clear. If you have a pure blockchain and you have knowledge of who the buyers and sellers are, we could then, we don't need custodians anymore. Okay. We don't need, the whole process of finance. Some of the intermediaries are broken down. And so this is why we're all studying.
But we're not there.
We're not close to there. But it's an advancement of technology.
So he obviously is a pretty big Bitcoin bull, it sounds like right now, at least in terms of technology, not necessarily in terms of pushing up the price. It's not like he's saying that it's going to go up to $100,000 or anything like that. But part of that might just be that he's trying to sell this new ETF that they're going to get approved, right? He can point back at this and say, hey, I like Bitcoin for these reasons. This is our ETF. go buy it, that kind of thing. He wouldn't say it exactly like that, obviously, but you can see that they are at least showing some of the positives of cryptocurrency, which I think are pretty good things to see on a national broadcast like this. A lot of people know BlackRock and realize how influential they are. I'll play a little bit more because he does talk about interest rates and banks here.
And then the spirit around AI and what AI can do.
Larry, as we look at the broader market here,
Right.
we have come out of a bank crisis. I don't know, it was a mini
crisis,
fit or something like
little
that.
mini
It didn't feel mini to the banks that went under, three
Correct.
of them.
Yes.
But the very issues that put those banks under, whether it was bank management in relation to higher interest rates,
Correct.
have not gone away. Now we've got the roller coaster coming right at commercial real estate.
Yes.
Are there more banks that you foresee failing, whether they are the regionals? We just talked to David Rubenstein at the top of the show,
Sure.
and he thinks maybe in a couple of years we will see some of these go away.
We have 4,400 banks. We have more banks in the United States than any country in the world. We believe in local banks, so we have a strong foundational belief that local banks are good. But to have 4,400 maybe is too many. Liz, you framed it perfectly. I believe interest rates are going to continue to go higher. I think the Federal Reserve is going to have to do minimum of 2, but maybe as much as 4 more tightening.
4 more rate, 25 basis points.
25 basis points, another 100 basis points. I actually believe inflation is stickier and more structural. And so I see a future of higher interest rates. Higher interest rates is going to create more stress in commercial real estate. Commercial real estate is the largest asset category of regional banks. And so there may be stresses.
That's a problem.
But the first 3 banks did not have stress on credit. They had stress on their mismatch of their assets and liabilities.
So overall, Larry Fink talking very positively about Bitcoin. Keep in mind, people in traditional finance will sell you out and try to make money off of you. They will dump whatever you have if that is the time to dump for them to make money. So don't believe everything that these people say, but still great to see some positive media coverage from the CEO of BlackRock on national TV. Thank you so much. Let me know your questions in the comments about this, or let me know your thoughts. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.